in the womb. That 1 million of them are killed. 380,000 are killed by Planned
Before you try to...
Do their rights not count? Because you're assuming that women aren't strong enough to be pregnant, to achieve their educational goals, to achieve their career goals, and also be a mother. As a working mother, I get highly offended. The feminist Kristen in me gets very pissed off that you would insinuate that I can't run a $20 million organization, have 100 staff reporting to me, and at the same time be a good mother to 4 of my children.
Kristen,
That's
are you
not?
Would you not
agree?
No, would you
that
not?
We're going to force women
Kristen,
into the domestic economy if they don't have access to abortion.
Well,
and I
I'm
think
saying
that's
that.
You're
Okay.
underselling women is what you're
First
doing,
of all,
Joey. You're saying most women aren't capable of that. I'm answering your question if you let me continue to talk, because I'll continue
You think
to talk.
most women are capable of running a $20 million organization when most people in general don't have $20 million? You're an exceptional person. You are using your own exceptional certificates in order to...
With $20 million? Yeah, I mean, I think it's...
Okay,
I think you just undersold like all these women, that somehow I'm this special woman that can do something.
I'm saying that
has anyone else who's a woman who heard that and said, what the fuck is he talking
Kristen.
about?
Hey folks, here's a video from Kristen where she's confronted by this particular individual, and trust me, the way it plays out and ends is jaw-dropping. I'll be also giving my thoughts along the way, so let's jump into it and watch.
Hey, Kristen, I'm Joey, by the way. Thanks for entertaining this discussion with me. But right now there's just a couple of different things that I wanted to start off with. First of all, you mentioned the fact that when you were talking about public policy, that we need to have a right to protect ourselves, right? And I feel like that's something that both you and I agree on. It is very important to institutionalize ways for groups of people, especially groups of people that have been oppressed, to protect themselves legally. How does removing abortion help women protect themselves from entering another domestic economy that they just got out of? Because the first 3 waves of feminism...
Are you assuming that women can't enter the domestic economy because they're pregnant or parenting? Because that's an incredibly
Where did I make that
statement.
assumption?
That's what you just said.
No, I said...
We need to help women so they can enter the domestic
Kristen,
economy.
please do not try to retake my words or anything. I said, how do you suppose that banning abortion will help protect women from entering back into a domestic economy that the first 3 waves of feminism were entirely about trying to give them an option to step out of? There's nothing wrong with a woman entering a domestic sphere or entering the domestic labor if that is her choice. But when you remove abortion, what you are doing is you are removing one of the legal institutions within which women can either choose to enter that domestic sphere or be forced into it. I feel like it's also especially important to notice that abortion laws have become increasingly more strict in this country as birth rates are going down, as our future economy is starting to get a little bit more worried because we have less children. It seems like removing abortion rates or removing ways for women to get access to abortion is a way to force women to engage in births.
Okay.
In order to power a future economy.
Are you saying that you want more births or less births?
I'm saying that you need to have abortion as a legal option that women can take in order to prevent the government from forcing them into a position where they are the byproducts of more manual labor.
Okay. All right. Do you think there's too many births of babies or too few births of babies in our economy?
That doesn't matter.
Well,
no, it doesn't matter, because what abortion does is it offers somebody an opportunity to be able to enter that birth or not.
I will talk about feminism, because I would say argue it was the first and second waves of feminism. But what about the rights of a whole group of marginalized human beings in the womb? That 1 million of them are killed. 380,000 are killed by Planned
Before you try to...
Do their rights not count?
Kristen, before you try to engage in a logical deflection, we both know you're smart enough to respond to my point. So please do so.
I just said I would respond to your point. I'm just
asking you.
No,
you're engaging in a deflection. When you're asking another question, when you're asking a question, instead of responding to how do you suppose that woman will be able to legally protect themselves?
I think your argument is sort of misogynistic, because you're assuming that women aren't strong enough to be pregnant, to achieve their educational goals, to achieve their career goals, and also be a mother. As a working mother, I get highly offended. The feminist Kristen in me gets very pissed off that you would insinuate that I can't run a $20 million organization, have 100 staff reporting to me, and at the same time be a good mother to 4 of my children.
Kristen,
That's
are you
the
not?
insinuation
Would you not?
that you're making,
No, would
is
you
that
not?
we're going to force women
Kristen,
into the domestic economy if
Kristen.
they don't have access to abortion.
Well,
And I
I'm
think
saying
that's
that.
You're
Okay.
underselling women is what you're
First
doing,
of all,
Joey. You're saying most women aren't capable of that. I'm answering your question if you let me continue to talk, because I'll continue
You think
to talk.
most women are capable of running a $20 million organization when most people in
Yes.
general don't have $20 million? You're an
I think
exceptional
women-
person. You are using your own exceptional certificates in order to.
With $20 million?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I think it's,
okay, it's
I
making-
think you just undersold like all these women that somehow I'm this special woman that can do
I'm
something.
saying that
has
any
anyone else who's a woman who heard that and said, what the fuck is he talking
Kristen.
about? Because that's what I'm thinking about.
The hardening of the heart is a gradual process that occurs when a person or society rejects the truth in favor of emotions or desires. This resistance of truth or to truth leads to a distorted understanding of the world and ultimately to spiritual blindness. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when people are unable to recognize the deeper meaning or divine purpose behind life's experiences, when emotions take precedence over logic, it becomes harder to understand the truth that is rooted in God's word. You see? In such an environment, individuals may prioritize fleeting emotions and momentary comforts, missing out on the lasting peace, lasting hope, and understanding that comes with embracing logical truth actually, and divine wisdom.
Kristen, I'm saying.
You're going to have to edit that out, sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying that if you have $20 million, you're already at a point that is far beyond the means of most people.
I started at $0.
Yes, and
do,
you have
do you not
demonstrated.
believe that the women here are listening to you
I'm saying
are
that.
not capable of starting their own organization or business with $0 and growing their business to $20 million while being a mother of 4 children?
I'm saying
2
I
of
don't
whom
think
have
most
special
people
needs.
are capable of that, period.
Oh.
Otherwise, most people would have
Sorry,
$20 million.
ladies. I argued for you, sorry. I think your point,
My
though,
point
is
is-
wrong.
my point is that
assuming
abortion-
that I'm somehow this exceptional woman and that only rare people can run organizations and fundraise $20 million from scratch and also be a mother. I think women are strong enough and capable of that. What I was saying is Planned Parenthood sells women short. Planned Parenthood tells them that they're not capable to achieve their career goals, to achieve their education goals. Our college campuses tell them that. When
So
our
then-
college campuses on the first day of freshman orientation tell girls where to go to Planned Parenthood, but don't actually highlight the federal and state mandated resources that are required at a state school by law to support pregnant and parenting women on this campus. I do that work. I highlight those policies. I threaten to sue the schools that doesn't allow women to carry their children to
And we
term
can-
because they're so afraid they're going to get red carded in sports, or they're going to lose their academic or their scholarship for athletics.
And we can agree that your vocalization of those bills is important.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not against feminism. The first wave of feminism was pro-life, by the way. They were all anti-abortion advocates.
They were also TERFs, but.
Yes, I'm also a TERF as well.
Oh, interesting.
The second wave of feminism advocated for women's rights in the workplace and educational opportunities, which I would absolutely agree with. I think abortion sells women short time and time again. What we're saying in the pro-life movement is we have a very progressive vision. It's 2023 America. Surely we have the resources available that we can bring to bear to help a woman who's facing an unplanned pregnancy that she hasn't planned on, that may or may not be a crisis, that we can actually help her choose to carry her child to term, where she can decide she wants to parent or she wants to place the child to adopt a family. But we shouldn't have to resort to a violent, barbaric act to marginalize another group of human beings, children in the womb. How is removing abortion
Because you're
going to
removing
make
an
women
opportunity.
not representative
You're
or
No,
participants
Kristen,
in
because you're
democracy?
removing an opportunity. That's the same thing as trying to
Opportunity
argue,
to do
oh,
what?
these people are
Opportunity to do what?
opportunity to abort.
To kill another
If
human
that's
being.
what you want to call it, sure, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should have the right to have the opportunity to kill an innocent human being. I think that is a moral wrong because this human being is a
So
member of our
instead,
species,
you want to
and at
give
the moment of
people
conception,
no
he or
le-
she became he
So
or she.
instead, you want to give a group of people who have already been exposed to the patriarchy no legal protection from the same principle that the patriarchy has always enforced, which is forcing them into the domestic economy. By removing abortion, you are making it far easier to force women into the domestic economy.
Why these people just want to be listened to but are not willing to listen? In reality, they are not asking for acceptance. No, they are not. They are demanding and forcing their sexuality on others as the primary focus. But under the guise of having superior, higher moral standards, they're expecting the government to impose laws to enforce their views. You see? And usually acceptance by society requires a level of assimilation to the accepted norms, not pointing out your differences, criticizing others who disagree with you, then expecting to be embraced by them. It doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't.
Do you have any sources for this? Do you have any quotes about, I don't know, GOP members of Congress who vote for abortion bans saying, I want to force women into the domestic economy? Because I don't see any facts for what you just said. What are your facts? What about the woman in the womb? Is the mother the patriarchy then? Is
You already like, I feel like we've had this conversation enough.
Because
I don't give a fuck about anyone in the womb. I'm talking about the people that are here.
There's the video. I don't give a fuck about anyone in the womb. This is our whole point in the pro-life movement, sir, is that children in the womb, little boys and little girls in the womb have an equal right to life as you and I do. You're precious. I'm precious. They're precious. All of us are equally valuable because we're human beings.
But when you remove abortion from being something those women in the womb can access in their future, then you are putting them in a society that implicitly gives them less opportunities than the little boys you're trying to protect.
Well, I'm trying to protect little girls too.
But
What
you're
about the little
doing
girls
so.
in the womb?
Wait, no. So you're protecting the little girls in the womb,
From being aborted from those.
but you're protecting those
You're
little girls
stronger
at
than
the
them.
expense of giving them the same opportunities as those little boys. Because one of the aspects of masculinity is the fact that we don't have to worry about aborting a child because it's never in
Yeah, 'cause
our
you're
body.
not as special as women. 'Cause
Yeah,
you-
well, no,
my body can do 3 things your body can't. I can gestate, I can menstruate, and I can lactate.
Per.
We're superheroes as women.
yeah, absolutely.
So
But
I wouldn't argue that I would say we're the superior sex.
okay, per.
There is also a spiritual dimension to this shift, and it's important to acknowledge the weight of what it means to deny our Creator, ladies and gentlemen. Remember in Matthew 10 verse 33, it says, "But whosoever shall deny me before men, him also will I deny before my Father who is in heaven." Think about that. This verse, it serves to remind us of the importance of standing firm in our faith and not being ashamed to acknowledge God in our lives. Never be ashamed to acknowledge God in your life. Never be, because denying Him is not simply a personal choice, but it has eternal consequences. There are eternal consequences. When we fail to acknowledge our Creator, we are distancing ourselves from the very source of our moral compass, our values, our purpose. This is why faith is so essential in our moral framework. Faith is so essential. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen. It keeps us grounded in something bigger than ourselves and reminds us that our actions have deeper significance. Literally. In conclusion, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ is a deeply meaningful, beneficial endeavor, ladies and gentlemen. It transforms lives, promotes love, justice, and hope, and also spreads the truth of God's word. You see, by fulfilling God's command, it provides eternal significance and brings profound joy to all who embrace it. And at its core, the gospel of Jesus Christ is the greatest gift to all humanity. Creating the ripple effect of positive change that echoes God's love throughout all society. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one, and don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I will see you again next time. Bye bye for now.